Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we will be talking about how to use TypeScript inside your web projects. This tutorial will be focusing on how to set up TypeScript so you can use it directly right away in any kind of your web projects. So let's go and do that. I've created a directory here, called it TSC tutorial. You can see that there is nothing there. So the first thing that you need to ensure is that you have the TypeScript compiler installed. So if you type tsc -v, then you should see that you have the TypeScript compiler installed. If you don't have it installed, then you need to do that using npm. For example, if you are on Linux or Mac, then you need to do sudo npm install -g TypeScript, and that will install TypeScript on your system. But I have it already installed, so I don't need to do that. If you are on Windows, then I think you need to download an executable and to install that from there. So suppose that this folder is your web project and you want to create, let's say, an index HTML file, and that you have to create a directory for your scripts, and possibly a styles directory, but we are not going to do styles, so it's just about how to use TypeScript. So I'm creating another directory for the TypeScript scripts and files, and as you can see I have two folders here. So I'm going to the scripts folder and I'm going to create a main.js file, which is empty by now, but we will be using the TypeScript file to develop our code, to write our code. So in that case we go and create a main ts. ts is TypeScript, that's the extension of TypeScript files. So here now we created one ts file. So we go away and we have already Visual Studio Code or any other editor that you prefer, and we have the main ts file already created. So we will create now some HTML, and here we will be linking the JavaScript file that we have created. So it will be, in this case, scripts main.js, right? Okay, so there is nothing happening right now. The stuff will be started in few minutes. Let's go to the main ts file and let's type anything like console log using TypeScript. Oops. And I'm going to compile this file, this simple statement, into our main.js file. If you want to know how what kind of options for the command line for the compiler that you're going to use, then just type tsc-h and you will get all the options that you need to use for development. So in this case we are going to use the tsc and the name of the file and the out file. Where are we going to compile that file? And you need to take note of the target that you are going to compile your TypeScript into. For example, we are going to use ES5. Okay, you can use ES6, for example, or any other newer version, but supposedly we are going to use the most common version of JavaScript. So in this case, we are going to say tsc. We are going to include the path, so it's in the TS directory, and we have main TS that is going to out file. We are going to specify the directory of the out file, so it's scripts, I think, yes, scripts, and main.js. Now the target is ES5, and you need to include the W switch, which means watch. Watch will continue compiling your TypeScript code into JS code anytime you change something in your TS files. So let's see if this works. So we have 0 errors, and now we can see that we have the statement compiled from our TS file to our JS file. Now we are going to do something more interesting. So I'm going to declare a class, and I'm going to call that pet. Oh, come on. So pet, and I'm going to declare a constructor which will take private variable, and we will call that private variable pet name, and that variable is of type string. Okay, and we are going to declare another private variable. Let me put it on the, and we will call it pet species, and this will be also of type string, and that's it. When you say private, that means that you're in the constructor, that means that this pet name will be a property name inside the class, and it will be private, which means that you need to access it using other methods. Oops, sorry. We will declare, let me check, yes. Now we can, oops, what the fuck is this? Okay. Now we are going to declare some methods to get the data out, which means get pet name, and this will return this pet name, and we will also declare get pet species, which will get us the pet species. All right, so our class now is ready. I've pressed save, so the watcher compiled my code already, and we can see that we have the JS file filled with my code. So now we can do something more interesting, like declaring a instance. Let's say my pet equals new of type pet, and it will, and it will take the name of Garfield, for example, you know the cat Garfield, right? And its species will be lousy cat. Okay, now I can try to type this here. So console log, let's check that my pet, get pet name, and we can see this in the console right now. Open with live server. So okay, so we have Garfield here in the console, which means our code is working. now I'm going to change the HTML file a bit. So I'm going to put a, let's say, a div, and inside that div I'm going to declare an h3, and I will say, I don't know, pet name, and I will declare a paragraph here with an ID. I will be saying the ID is what, the pet name, and I will leave it empty. I will declare another h3, pet species. Okay, and I'm going to declare an ID here because I'm going to use these IDs inside the code. So pet species, yeah, so we have the paragraphs already displayed here and with the h3. Now if I go to the TS file, I have this instance already declared. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the elements by their IDs. So document get element by ID. I'm going to grab the pet name element, and I'm going to add the inner HTML. So I'm going to change this, and I'm going to add 2 backticks. So I'm going to implement, or actually to inject the code for the pet name and species. So in this case, my pet get pet name. I can do that directly inside the template because this is a new specification. And I'm going to grab this, put it twice here, pet species. Oops. How do you write species? Species, yes. Get pet species. Okay. So I'm going to comment this because I'm not going to need it. And in this case, as you can see, all right, here you go. So now I have managed to display the properties that I have defined in my class in TypeScript, and to transform this TypeScript file into a classic JS file, and to insert the properties, the data, into the DOM. And this sets you basically up and running for using TypeScript inside your projects. You can continue from there, declare any other files, compile your various files, TS files, into JS files, and to use the resulting JS files with the benefit of types. So, like for example, here we are declaring types. So you can use that. And this concludes the tutorial for this time. I hope you have enjoyed that. Please subscribe, and I'm going to continue posting more tutorials in the near future. Thank you.